Oh, I just started. I forgot.
I feel like the beginnings of the last 4 episodes have been so unhinged.
I was waiting. I was waiting for somebody to say go.
Or the music to happen. We've gotten amnesia on how this show works.
It's becoming less and less tech savvy. We're just
we're devolving.
Yeah. Which is on brand. Welcome to The Long Shot. It is a podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Sean Conroy. With me today on the podcast, the branding expert herself, Miss Amber Kenny, is here.
Hello.
I was talking about...
It doesn't bode well for our podcast.
That you're the branding expert?
Yeah. Well, that it doesn't bode well for my position that this is the branding of our podcast.
Oh, again. I see. Yes. People are just Universal is going to become obscure over time. No one's going to even know about it anymore. Remember when that studio used to exist over in Universal City? What was the name of it? It was over in Universal City. The city that's called Universal. What was the name of the company? I was actually talking about branding with somebody this week who works in branding, and because I don't know how any of that stuff works, and what's your and it's like, what's your who are you aiming at when you and I I'm like, I don't fucking
whoever
everybody
will buy it.
Exactly. Yeah. Every person on the face of the earth. Okay, we need to narrow it down. We need to narrow it down. You need to be more specific, because otherwise you're just flailing in a wide open market. And I'm like, well, maybe that's my brand, flailing in a wide open market.
I would say it is, but we can tweak it. Yeah. we can improve upon that.
I hope so, because whatever it is right now, it's not working. Okay. I wanted to start just because we got some response. I had said a few weeks ago that I was thinking about putting t-shirts together for the show, and I have some ideas for designs, but I wanted to see if anybody had ideas, and we got a couple. We got a couple, and we got some other comments on YouTube. And please, if you're listening, feel free to reach out. Amber assiduously goes through the YouTube comments every week and checks to see who's saying what. She has a spreadsheet where she puts the comments in. She's like, this one is on brand. This one isn't on brand. We need to focus more on our brand. So anyway, we got some YouTube comments. So I thought I'd start by reading some of those. Here is the first one. This is from Albert Hall, and I don't know if that is a person or a location. That sounds like it could be a place where Wings recorded a live album or something.
That feels like a longtime listener. That name feels
yes,
familiar.
I think you're right. I think he.
I mean, I guess we're not getting new.
I just started listening. I love your brand. I was looking for a brand that fit me.
You guys start you don't know where you are.
The part at the beginning where you were surprised that the podcast had started already when you were the one who started it was amazing. That really rocked my world. And I was like, I got to hear more of these guys. So Albert says, I can say that in my neighborhood on the north side of Pittsburgh, I am on constant high alert for chicken wing bones when I'm walking my dog. They're everywhere around here, too. She can't find her milk bone if she drops it in the kitchen, but she can find a piece of broken chicken bone under a pile of leaves, no problem. It's a constant ordeal. Also, I've never owned a Long Shot t-shirt, so I am very interested in new designs. So any
That's good to hear, and I completely relate. We give Smudgy food that he's supposed to like, and he's like, I'll think about it. But if there's garbage on the ground, ooh boy, he's lapping it up right quick.
I get it, because it's like sometimes when I get a meal, I'm like, I don't want this right now. But then I'm like, there's leftovers in the fridge.
Yeah, I think I truly think that it's the danger, like it's the fact that it's illicit, that he's not supposed to have it, makes it more attractive to him. Because sometimes when he hasn't eaten for a while, Jeff and I will just pretend to drop food, like, oh no, I hope Smudgy doesn't get this, and it's his food, and then he runs and eats it.
Got him again.
But it's good, I guess, question mark, to hear that other cities have this chicken bone problem.
What the fuck is going on with that?
What is happening? Like,
who is walking around? Is it like a Johnny Appleseed of chicken bones who's wandering the country just spewing chicken bones around? Like, what is...
And you'd think that you would see more people eating chicken on the street. Like,
I mean, I do that every day. Every day I go out on the street.
So it's your fault.
No, because I very carefully get rid of the bones. I don't throw the bones in the bushes.
So yeah, you would think that the entire population of Los Angeles was
just constantly gnawing on bones and throwing
on the go and throwing them. So I guess that's in every city, and it's very strange.
Like I'm still processing, like, this means that people, because it's never like a pile of chicken bones.
No.
It's a bone.
It's a bone. But then you go...
A bone, I say. You say a bone.
You go 3 feet and then there's another a bone.
Right. So it's like somebody is walking along, eating their chicken wings and tossing them as they go. And who is that person?
Maybe it's out of car windows. I just had that thought, which doesn't make it make any more sense.
Chicken wings are the perfect food to eat in a car because they're so neat and clean and orderly and tidy. What is wrong with people?
I don't know. But if somebody should write like an academic paper on chicken bones in urban settings.
Look, I'm the chairman of the department, so it falls on me to tell you this. We think you wasted your time on this paper.
Right. Who's your target audience?
What's your brand? Nobody's even going to remember that we're called the English department after this. I like that the English department is writing scientific studies. Yes. Yeah. God, this sketch is poorly written. Here's the other thing that Albert Hall says is also, I've never owned a long shot t-shirt, so I'm very interested in new designs. What's funny about that to me is, like, he's not saying I never owned one because I couldn't. Like, I wasn't around when they were available.
No, he was like, didn't care for them.
Didn't like the old designs. Would love to see something
Could you
new.
give us some input, Albert, on what you want to see, not just what you don't want to see?
I have no input. It just needs to be better than what it was before. Because that was fucking garbage.
It was dumb. It was bad.
And to be clear, we love our old t-shirts. They're just not around anymore. So
I had to check. I might have been wearing one, but I wasn't.
I definitely have several in my...
I only have two. I have one with Eddie and one with Joe.
I have 11 with Joe. None with Eddie. But that was a purposeful choice on both parts. No, I have the long shot with everybody's face on it, which I think is an Eddie one. I don't remember. And then I have the Madam Panther t-shirt.
I don't have that one.
And then I also have one. At one point, we each got our own that just says the Long Shot Podcast across it. And I have that one somewhere.
I don't have that one.
They were all different colors. I don't remember where they came from. I think they may have come from somebody who listens to the show, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I have another one that is like that first one with all of our faces, but Joe is swapped in. And it's like gray or blue instead of gray or something like that.
Right. Those are worth a lot less than the Eddie ones. Damn. You could sell the Eddie ones on eBay for $900. Joe's not that much. Okay, here's one from Gerald, who is also a longtime listener, and I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure Gerald just sent me a poem on Facebook, like a poet reading his own poetry, which was
nice,
amazing. And if it wasn't Gerald, if it was somebody else, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure it was Gerald. But here's what Gerald says. I like the idea of a t-shirt with large letters across the front saying checking in and parting shot across the back. It probably needs a bit more, but it seems like a good starter idea.
I think I liked that comment, and I think I said it was a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good starting place. I almost want it. Well, I guess I'm curious to see what you think, but I almost want checking in to be like small, like where a name
like
would
across
go.
the breast pocket.
Yeah. Like, so just like checking in, and then parting shot maybe is bigger, but maybe with also some art included.
Here's another
But it also needs to include Lone Shot Podcast somewhere on there if you really want to have branding.
This T-shirt, I think this T-shirt is from Universal. Do you remember the play? What's Universal? Oh, it's the play. They have a city called Universal City, and there was a company there. Yeah, that's the thing, is that it does have to say the Long Shot Podcast on it somewhere. But here's another thing I was thinking about this is like, could there be one that says checking in across the front, and then in smaller print underneath it, it's like, Smudgy tried to eat a chicken bone. They spelled my name wrong at Starbucks. Like,
the pants still don't work.
Just the utter mundanity of the stuff that we talk about on the show.
And it's like a checklist.
Yes. I mean, that's another option, is like people have done that before, made us a bingo card. I don't remember where that was, but it was years ago. But anyway, it just feels like there could be a way to do like, this is what we typically talk about on the show. You know?
Again, I don't know if that's going to get any new listeners. Like,
that's not what we're trying to do.
How boring this show is.
Just a picture of someone sleeping on the front, and then the person sneaking into the room to turn off the podcast. Yeah. Which, by the way, it's good to turn off the podcast with a dial. That's usually
it's hard
how
to
it
do.
works.
It's hard to do, but it's preferred.
You got to get the dial app on your phone. And then, of course, we got a message from Felipe, our artistic friend in Brasilia.
He designed most of those T-shirts that we talked about, if not all of them.
Right. And he says, count on me for the T-shirt designs. So, Felipe, get ready. I may be in touch very soon. Nick says, LOL, Amber, I am also haunted by PFT's comments on daylight saving. I was in a good groove of getting to the gym at 5 a.m. and the time change ruined it. Congrats on the new weights.
Oh, thank you.
That's a bit of a taunt to say I was getting to the gym at 5 a.m., you know? Like, the people who say they're going to the gym at 5 a.m.
Take that personal.
I've been getting to the gym at 5 a.m. No, I mean, you could tell the tone in which he's saying that. He's being so smug in that moment.
Saying that it's not easy anymore because of the time change.
I was getting to the gym at 5 a.m. Now it takes me until 6 to get to the gym. I mean, like, even that's almost worse, because it's saying how horrible it is to not get to the gym until 6.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Nick, just ease up a little bit, okay? We're all trying to...
He's coming for your throat with that one. That was a little harsh.
This is from Protege 5, or I can't remember. I think when I tried to transfer this to a Word doc, it got all screwed up. But anyway, this is from Phil up in Canada. I also like Gerald's idea, considering getting a Jake McKelvey shirt after the last few tunes slapped. So Jake McKelvey and the Countertops is the music we use quite a bit on the end of the show. His music, according to Phil, slaps. So Phil is considering, and I encourage anybody to get a T-shirt from Jake as well. In fact, well, actually, I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't want to reveal anything until it's time. In Alabama and Georgia, this is from Rob.
Okay.
In Alabama and Georgia, they say mash the button. I think it means to damage it. I mean, you know, people describe things differently in different places.
But wait, what are we talking about here?
I think, you know, it seems to me...
We always say smash that like button. Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, I think in whatever was going on with Rob in that moment, he heard us say smash the like button, and just occurred to him that in Alabama and Georgia they would say it differently.
They say mash the button.
Mash the button, not smash the button. Which,
Okay.
I mean, maybe that has to do, well, I don't know. I was going to say maybe that has to do with moonshine, like mash whiskey. I don't know.
Well, there's mashed potatoes and smashed potatoes, and they're pretty much the same thing, right?
There's MASH, the TV show,
Mm-hmm.
and MASH.
There's Smash, the TV show.
What was the TV show Smash?
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this. It is a very good show.
Uh-huh.
About
I can already tell it's not, but go on.
It is absolutely not, but it has like a cult following now. Mm-hmm. It's a TV show about the mounting of a Broadway show about Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. So it's fictionalized.
It's very fictionalized, but there's musical numbers in it, and a lot of the actors are actual Broadway people. So there's like a fandom that we're obsessed with it.
And I sort of remember this. It only lasted like less than one full season, right?
No, I think it had 2 full seasons.
2 full seasons. Okay. Mm-hmm. When I say less than one, I
maybe it was.
I think I still get that one right. I get
that was tough. It's tough, but yeah, it's amazing.
Is it available? Is it available on streaming?
Probably. It's probably. I'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay. There's also the MASH, the monster.
The Monster Smash?
Well, it was a graveyard smash. Okay, the next one is from Fred O'Google, which I feel like that can't be his real name. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but Fred O'Google? Like, but with a U instead of 2 O's.
Does he have that Google money?
He says, Ray T-shirts, Sean Conroy quote, constellations are bullshit. Amber Kenny quote, people poo-poo ship novels with appropriate illustrations by Felipe, of course. So constellations are bullshit and people poo-poo ship novels.
Is that something you said?
It is. In fact, I have it written in a comedy notebook.
I have it as a tattoo.
I was going to get the North Star on the Big Dipper, but then I realized constellations are bullshit, so I got that tattooed instead. No, it was one of those things where I was just trying to write jokes for stand-up, and I just wrote constellation because I do. Whenever people are like, "Oh, that's Theseus's sandal," and it's like, well, no, it's like 3 dots, you know. Come on. Oh, that's the crab. No, it's 7 dots. But and then people poo-poo ship novels obviously has been a theme since very early on.
And truly, if we're gonna be correct in historical, you were the first person to say that. I repeated it, but like I can't get the credit for that quote. Is what I'm saying.
Well, if I said it,
you casually were like, you know how people poo-poo ship novels, and I was like, wait a second, people poo-poo ship novels. That's what happened. I didn't like come to that idea myself.
I mean, I feel okay.
It was a joint venture.
Here's what I think about that. Is part of me thinks that we could do that as a quote, people poo-poo ship novels, and list both our names. Or
with a copyright.
Yeah, or do like, you know how people poo-poo ship novels? Wait a minute. People poo-poo ship novels?
I say no to that one. Too many words. Too wordy.
Also, here's another thing. You're saying you can't get credit for it. I feel like in this case, you're like a lexicographical archaeologist because you're the one who dug it out of the...
I get that a lot.
Do you really? Because I feel like I just made that up.
I didn't know what you were saying.
It's like you dug that nugget out of an entire sea of words, not to add to the ship novel.
Shine light on this idea that everyone just glossed over as though it was a normal thing to say.
Yeah, you were like you went into the Pharaoh's tomb and you were like, "What the fuck is this?" And it led to all this discovery. Right. You know?
Yes.
So I think you should get credit for it. And then here's the last one is from Green Apple Cat which is our friend Diamanda. Scott, he's the one who carved all our spoons.
So cool.
And here's some t-shirt ideas, and he just listed a bunch of them.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Is there one that looks like Pause? These are all quotes from the show. Is there one that looks like Pause? I don't know what that's a reference to.
I do. And
okay.
It'll probably happen again today. You couldn't figure out how to stop recording.
So that was just recent. That was like once we started doing
that episode. And I said, "Is there one that looks like Pause?" Being very helpful.
So the artwork on that would just be one baffled person and one person just pointing and trying to be helpful. Is there one that looks like Pause? Here's another one. Oh, no. Sorry. That was the only one. Oh. Then it says, just kidding. Great way to end the show, though.
Oh, see, you would have had context if you had
Yeah. I can't think of any good ideas, but I'll probably buy whatever you end up going with. I still have my other 3 Lo Chapeau t-shirts.
Dang,
but I've worn them so much that they're only suitable for sleepwear these days. Maybe I could take them to a tailor to make them look new again. Do not take them to a tailor. Tailors are the meanest people on the planet.
You have a sample size of 1.
They will scream at you about what are you doing here, expecting me to fix your clothing for you. This is too worn out. It's too worn out. You wear this for sleeping. You don't get fixed. Okay.
You said that you had ideas for t-shirts. Do you want to share them now with the class?
I don't because I have them formulating in my head, but I want to one of them involves a lot of artwork and I'm not sure how that would work. And the other one is very text based and I'm not sure how that would work. So, then another one is 3-dimensional and it doesn't involve a shirt. It's a t-shirt that has no shirt with it.
There's one that's just an idea. It's just a concept. It's not words or.
One of them is a hologram that you wear over the top of your head that you don't see where it comes from.
It sounds expensive, but I like it.
It's just that thing from The Sims, that little diamond that floats above people.
It's nothing to do with our show.
It's off brand, so it's on brand.
That's so true. We need to have a t-shirt that has the least to do with our show to be on brand.
It's like a Nike swoosh, and then it says, the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Or anyone want spaghetti?
You've come a long way, baby. The Long Shot Podcast. I get where these guys are coming from. I am their demographic.
No, I like their brand. The whole picture of them is coming together quite nicely. I for sure am going to log on to Sean Conroy Gets Happier to listen to it.
I know just where to go based on their brand. Okay, so that's everything we got so far. So if you have ideas, please, or anything else you want to say, please mash the button, as we say in Alabama and Georgia, and comment on YouTube. It seems to be like that's the place where people are having the easiest time communicating with us because.
Well, I think it's like when they're experiencing it, they don't have to go to a second location.
Right. And also, who knows what people have as far as emails at this point? We've had a couple of different Long Shot podcast emails that we don't even. There could be 100 emails backed up there we don't even have access to.
People are probably trying to give us movie deals. And
the tour should have happened by now. But
we could have retired.
But of course, Jamie has his 69 jokes on the password there, so we can't get into it.
Everyone has 69 jokes on their passwords.
I guess. Okay, so we always start the show with a segment that we like to call Checking In. So let's start today with Amber.
Yes. First of all, I'm very glad that this is not a smell-o-vision podcast.
Me too.
Okay. End of checking in. See you tomorrow. Um, because I literally just finished working out. I timed my day poorly. It could be argued,
Mhm.
but I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. And
Right.
then it was like, no. But I did it all. But I was expecting to like shower and then join the podcast.
Right.
But I'm fresh off working out. It's like a sunny, nice, warm day. So
It's
that is
beautiful out. I went out
it's
for a walk and I was
it's
like, this is the
gorgeous.
best weather we've had since 1993.
Well, and all of the rain,
Mhm.
not to be on brand about finding silver linings,
Yeah.
but like Los Angeles looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's so green, it's so clean, it's so sparkly. Um, and oh, because it's a warm day, I have been working out in like long pants and sweatshirts, and
Hmm.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt and like no socks even. And it
Jesus
feels
Christ. What
it
happened to
feels
you?
feels very summery right now. It's very exciting. But I'm excited to shower. Um so that's where I am presently. My checking in also
Wait,
relates.
before you keep going, can I ask what your workout entailed today?
It was just Pilates. It wasn't anything too crazy, but I still sweat a lot. I
No,
think
no
because
weightlifting stuff.
no, I think I read somewhere once. You know, you like read something somewhere once, and you're like, "Well, that's definitely true, and I'll
It
remember
fucks
it
you up for the
forever."
rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
But like, I don't even have proof. But I read once that the more shape you're in, the more you sweat because your body's like cool down system kicks in quicker or something. So it was
Look, Bob, I need to see you in my office. As the chairman of the English department, it falls on me to tell you that your paper is a crock of shit, and there's no reason
and
for
it's
us to
very
publish it.
short. um but I say all that just because it was just like Pilates. It was just like abs and leg lifts and stuff, but I still got pretty sweaty.
Yeah.
Cool story.
No, it makes sense. Like, no, I'm just interested because we did talk about it a few weeks ago about your weightlifting journey, and I'm interested in that, you know.
Yeah, I'm in a weird place currently with it. Like today I'm working through some things
Mhm.
because I this wasn't even going to be my checking in, but I guess now it's my checking in.
My bad.
Um no. I went to it was my friend Tessa's birthday and she wanted to go to a drag brunch. And so that's what we did yesterday. And I was going to talk about something totally else, but maybe I still will. Maybe that'll be my parting shot. Um and it was really fun. It was
So
like
you
this.
guys hate America?
No, we love America. That's the
I
whole
mean,
thing.
trans brunches. Come on, drag brunch,
No, no.
drag shows.
Um it was really fun. It was in West Hollywood. It was crazy because it was like just a few doors down from where I worked for 10 years. Like
Oh,
I'm
bang!
like, it's crazy that I worked here for so long. And
I've been
uh,
there. I've been there.
yeah, yeah. And it was outdoor patio, lovely, super fun show, all of that. But the group wanted like a group photo. So
Mhm.
somebody took a like the waiter took a photo of us all sitting at our table, and I was closest to the camera, and I was wearing a sleeveless shirt because it was warm out, and like sitting isn't the greatest. Anyway, point is, I'm trying so hard to not be hard on myself and my body,
Mhm.
but like I saw this picture and I was like, Jesus, like I'm working out this hard, and it's like that's what I look like. It's very disheartening, but that's what I mean. Like I'm working through it currently because I know like these
But
are
also, like,
the
well,
bad guys in my
I don't
head.
know.
That
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But I don't know. Also, I feel like you're sitting in the front. The waiter
Mhm.
is taking the picture, which means it's not like, unless maybe I'm wrong about this. I feel like the waiter is not a trained photographer, so they're not looking
Right,
for like the best angle. And
right,
there's so many things that go into a two-dimensional
totally,
representation of a
totally.
three-dimensional body that can be completely deceptive. You
Right.
know?
Well, and it was more just, and I'm doing exactly what I'm trying so hard not to do, and that's
Hmm.
also why I'm like working through it. But it wasn't even like, oh, it's not even that I needed to look a lot differently because I love myself and I love my body. But I guess it was just like I'm working out this hard and I feel like I look larger than ever. Like,
Hmm.
what is there's a disconnect. But there's going to be hills and valleys, human
Absolutely.
beings and
And
emotions.
I think, I mean, I don't know if you've started following or reading any of that stuff from that woman that I sent you
A
the
little bit,
link
yeah.
to, but her whole thing, I mean, I haven't read all of it either, but her whole thing is like, forget all that stuff. That's not
Yeah,
what's important. It's how you feel and how you
right.
function
Well,
and how you walk through the day, you
and
know?
that is where I've been. I've
Hmm.
been very successful at being there. And truly, this picture, probably a year ago, 2 years ago, would have made me go into way more of a tailspin than I am currently in.
Right.
But I have been. That's what I mean. Like I just feel a little shook because I had such steady um footing. I had my feet on the ground and I was like loving myself, and it was about exactly what you're talking about. It was about just like how I feel and feeling healthy. And it was just like I guess maybe it's like a little test of like old habits dying hard and
Yeah,
stuff.
and what you said is true, which is there's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be ins and outs, and there's going to be overs and unders, and like
And
there's
round
going
and
to be
round.
there's going to be all sorts of opposites that happen,
Uh-huh.
and you know, I think with stuff like this, it's just keep your eyes on the prize and stay
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
consistent and realize what you're working towards, and what you're working towards is feeling not necessarily, I mean, certainly you want to feel better about yourself. We can all feel better about ourselves, but just feeling better and
Right.
functioning better
And
day
being
to day.
healthy and my
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
working
Right.
correctly, which it is doing. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what I mean. I You caught me on a weird day to
I
talk about
get it. I
working
get it.
out.
I mean, look, I just had a fucking 3 week battle with a pair of pants, you know? So look who you're talking to. Like, if
um
you're losing to pants, that is disheartening, you
yeah,
know?
that's tough. But your pants were too big, I would argue.
Because of what I thought I looked like.
Oh, I see.
Because I was like, this is how I am
Dysmorphia.
shaped, and I need to have
Right, right, right.
these tent like pants. And then the
Right.
tailor, I mean,
She just
this
wanted to
woman
see
almost
that
had a
booty.
stroke, you know? She was like, yeah, she did. She wanted to be able to grab that juicy booty without searching around for it. And boy, did she. It was actually very inappropriate.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about going back to get grabbed again. So I get it. I get where you're coming from, but I think you have a healthy perspective, it sounds like.
Yes. And it's not like again what I mean about the tailspin in the past. I would have either the pendulum would have swung one of two ways where I either would have been like, well, why bother? I would have stopped working out. I would have started eating
Chunky
like
monkey.
crazy and be like
Yeah.
feeling sorry for myself. Or I would have been like borderline anorexic, working out too much. And I
Mhm.
have done neither. I've just felt my feelings and continued to eat food that nourishes me and working
Mhm.
out. And
Right.
so that's a success in itself.
And I think what you're saying is an incredibly common downfall for people who are trying to go on a fitness journey of some sort is that there comes a moment when people take stock of the amount of work they've put into what they're
Mm.
doing, and they look at themselves and say, I don't see the results I want to see. And that becomes the excuse to just go,
Mm.
fuck everything. I don't
Right.
care anymore. It's not working. And I think that's makes total sense. And it's really hard to get past that moment, you know? And I think that's where it comes down to what you're saying, which is like having perspective on it and going like the pendulum, you know, as you said, the pendulum could swing one of two ways. I mean, I would argue that pendulums only swing two ways. but
I can't.
but maybe this time the pendulum will just dangle. Maybe it'll just be a dangling pendulum, and
Or
it won't be swinging.
It will be at peace, at rest. It'll be a meditating pendulum.
A pendulum at rest.
Yes.
The Amber Kenny story. All right. So what else? You had something else that you were going to talk about.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going the other way with the weather stuff. I'm guessing that it's this. I think that I've been having horrific allergies because of all of the plant life that is growing that never I mean, I could show you pictures of where I walk smudgy that's like, that's usually dirt, that's usually dirt, that's usually dirt. And it's like a full jungle experience.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of plants and
Los Angeles is a desert city. It's not a jungle.
No,
I mean, we do say it's a jungle out there, but that's just a figure of speech.
No, yeah, it's not real.
Yeah.
So I've been having like every afternoon, I just feel like absolute crap and I start getting congested and I hate it. And I even took a couple COVID tests because I was like, is this allergies? Like it's always
I do that, but with SAT tests, I take them regularly to see if I could still get into college.
Okay, and can you?
Sometimes.
But yeah, I've come out negative. But yeah, I felt like such crap, and so I spent a lot of the weekend just popping Benadryl. I mean, not abusing it, doing the recommended dosage, but and that helped.
Benadryl fucks you up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It did help. So I do think it was allergies. But now I'm like looking forward to that Benadryl to be out of my system because I'm like working, like just kind of like dazing off.
You're like, you're like, look, I got to drive the forklift. What am I supposed to do? I got to go to work.
But
these pallets aren't going to move themselves.
Jeff keeps asking me what I'm allergic to. And I'm like, I don't. How am I supposed to know? I guess go to the doctor.
Well, you could do what I did when I was seeing somebody years ago who had a dog. And my friend was like, I know a doctor who can cure you of your dog allergies. All you have to do is go to this doctor and then you go back once a week for a year and you get injections and you are cured of dog allergies. Like they build up your tolerance to dogs over time. And so I went to this doctor, and they did an allergy test.
Like
and,
the like lots of little.
Well, it was on my back though. Yeah, it was like they drew. I can't even. It was incredibly painful, and it was like they drew a giant grid on my back, and then put little things in every spot. And I'm sure it was like dog dander and cat dander and snake venom and moon rocks, and
most people are allergic to snake venom.
I was not bragging.
One of the lucky few.
Yeah. But anyway, it took like an hour and a half. It was so painful. It was annoying. It was whatever. And
not selling it very much.
Well, on top of all of that, I did not have health insurance at the time. So the end of this test that I went in where I said, I am allergic to dogs. I want you to fix me from that.
They said, we found out you're allergic to dogs.
That was it. That was the whole thing. And here's your bill for $1,000.
And you're like, I knew that. We could have skipped this part.
That's why I came.
Yeah.
It's like these people, I bet that doctor and the tailor have a club together of people who don't want to do their jobs. Oh, the pants are too big. I don't want to be involved. Oh, you have dog allergies. That's why I came here. I came to get my pants fixed. I came because I have dog allergies. You're telling me shit I didn't already know? Come on. Motherfuckers. So anyway, what are you allergic to?
I don't know, but I really want to figure it out because being sick feeling unwell isn't great, obviously, but also going into an office setting and it all being like congested or coughy sneezy in a post-COVID world is like absolutely not. And then, as we said, I'm a little bit spacey because of all the Benadryl, but it's not a permanent solution because I feel so insane on it.
Mm-hmm. I when I've had Benadryl, because I have one insane story about doing Benadryl and then ending up robbing a liquor store, but I won't get into that right now. But
No, that's far too interesting for this
yeah, yeah.
podcast.
But another time I did Benadryl and I sort of fell asleep and I was like, what is going on?
That's on brand.
No, I felt like it made me sleepy, but also jittery at the same time.
Yes.
Like
Today,
I was dozing off, and then somebody was like, "Sean," and I was like, "Ah!" Like it scared me, you know.
well, today I had a work day, but I had work to do, but it wasn't like an overwhelming amount of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself kind of panicky.
Yeah.
At one point, and I was like, "This isn't good. This has to be
It's an unpleasant high.
Yeah,
the Benadryl high.
And I haven't taken it since 4 p.m. yesterday, but it feels like it's still in my system.
Right. It's going to be there for a while. I hope you don't have drug testing at work because you're going to find it.
I don't.
Oh, well, that works out.
But it's beautiful out. I love it.
It is.
But it might be making me sick.
So that's your checking in.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I mean, it's great. I loved it. I loved every second of it. No, it was. I really did enjoy it. I did get a kick out of it. I am checking in because here's the thing. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about our lives, where we're at in our lives now, and how it was so much better when we were little kids and you didn't have to worry about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me was like, I don't know that that's true.
I worried about everything as a little kid.
And like, was life more fun and more exciting when I was a kid or not? And as it happens, I have my diary here from first grade. And
that is so cute.
I thought I would read some entries just to get a sense of like where my head was at during the time. And so I won't read all, like, first of all, there isn't that much written here, but I won't read all of it because you'll get a sense. And I'll just go through, like, was life better when I was, so the first entry is October 16th, 1973.
Okay.
So I'm 6 years old. And just to give you a sense of what's going on when I'm 6 years old, Richard Nixon is in the White House.
Okay.
He's under investigation by a variety of congressional committees. So things haven't changed in all this time. The number one song was Boys to Men. No, I don't know.
I was like, that sounds wrong.
Top TV show was Lost.
They like weren't born.
Yes. Okay, so the first entry says, I worked in the listening center. I worked on my math book. That's the whole. That was whole entry. So that's October 16th.
Yeah, it sounds, at least so far, as a 6-year-old, you're not really getting into the deep emotional.
It's an academic diary more than a right. How do I feel diary. Okay, so October 23rd, 1973. So my second entry is a week after the first one. So already,
maybe you only had to do it once a week.
Well, I thought that too, but then there's other places where there's 2 days in a row. So, but I feel like so I did the first
You're
day.
Like, I'm not gonna write in that shit.
No. But you know how it is when you're like, I'm gonna keep a diary every day, and then you're like, I didn't do it the second day. I didn't do it the third day. Like I know I was like excoriating myself, you know. October 23rd, 1973, my group did a storytelling role. I don't know what a storytelling role is.
It sounds like a sentence that Jamie would have said that you would have dissected every single word. Like, who is your group? What is a storytelling role?
Like most of his sentences. October 25th, I worked in my math book. I got a new phonics book.
Wow. It's almost Halloween. I'm getting kind of excited for that.
Then the next one is undated. It just says, I worked in my new phonics book today. But we don't know when that was because I was not a good record keeper. November 1st, 1973. So Halloween has passed, and I chose
Man.
not to comment on it.
Wow.
Although, now that I'm thinking about that, so anyway, the entry says, I got a new reader. I liked it. But then here's the drawing. Do you think that might be a jack-o'-lantern?
Maybe.
Like that was
Yeah.
just on my mind at that time?
Yeah. And this is probably the most emotional that you've gotten in your
I
entry so
liked
far.
it, yes.
Yeah.
November 13th, 1973. I read with Mrs. White. I read 6 pages.
Wow.
Now I'm really
Bragging.
Yeah. December 3rd. I read in my reader today. January 25th. I worked with clay. January
Wow.
28th. I worked with blocks. January 29th. I worked with blocks.
Wow.
January 31st, I worked with blocks and math. I enjoyed working with blocks the most.
Fuck math.
Blocks. Blocks beats the shit out of math. That's honestly, as a first grader, that was my 100% attitude. Like, give me the blocks every time. February 7th, I worked in clay. February 12th, I worked on math. So clay, blocks, math. February 13th, I worked in math.
Crazy.
March 5th, I worked with math, blocks, and clay.
This is all you guys do.
February 15th, it's midwinter vacation time. Sounds like a great setup for fun, right?
Yeah.
It's midwinter vacation time. I worked in blocks.
Yeah, you didn't play with blocks. You didn't.
No, I worked in blocks.
Worked with them.
Like Michelangelo. March 8th, I worked with clay, blocks, math. Jesus Christ.
Who has the time?
March 12th, I worked with clay. I went on a walking trip. March 13th, I worked with clay, math, and blocks. March 14th, I worked with clay and blocks. March 25th, I worked with clay, math, and corridor.
What is corridor?
I don't know. March 28th, we're going on a walking trip. I worked in blocks and clay. I mean, first grade seems like it was a Kafka-esque nightmare. It was like prison. Like I was just going clay, blocks, and math over and over and over again. So I don't know. I mean, I was looking at that and I was like, you know what? Maybe things weren't rosier back then. Maybe things were just kind of a nightmare. Because like you said, I didn't write anything about how I felt about any of this stuff.
Right.
But I can't imagine. I was like, today was super exciting. I got to work in blocks.
Clay, blocks, and math. I also have another theory.
Yes.
That those were the words that you were best at spelling.
Possible.
Because
very possible.
I remember being young, being like, I'd like to talk about this, but I don't know how. So I'm going to talk about what I know how to spell. Especially first grade. Like that. There's only
I worked with clay, blocks, math, and microscopes. Nope. Well,
I think the corridor was attempting something.
Right.
And it was a swing and a miss.
Corridor. Like, how do you work with a car? Like, you can be in a car. Anyway.
No, I think it was, you were probably trying to say something completely different.
Right. So I feel like all I'm trying to say is when I looked at this, it made me feel better about my life right now because
you don't have to do
it's
math.
a nightmare now, but it was a nightmare then too. So there's no pressure to get back to the fun of childhood because childhood was awful. It was day-to-day humdrummery. Is that a word? Humdrummery? It was day-to-day humdrummery of clay, blocks, and math, and that was it. I mean, midwinter vacation. People go skiing. They go to Florida for spring
Also,
break.
what is midwinter vacation? I've
And
never heard of it
I was
before.
on midwinter vacation. I worked in blocks, which was the same shit I had done every other day for the last 6 months.
Man.
So, what a nightmare. It's no wonder I ended up so damaged. Also, the other thing that's funny about this is there's so many drawings of stars everywhere. Like, I
And you
guess I
think
must have learned how to draw stars, and I just did it over and over and over again.
well, it's funny because you think that constellations are bullshit, but apparently at one point you were a big fan of stars.
See what happens? All our idols have feet of clay, blocks, and math. All right, that's it for me for checking in. It's time for a segment on the show that we like to call parting shots. So let's start today with Amber.
Yeah, parting shots. I've got two quickies. I guess we'll see if they're quick. But
I'll do everything I can to make sure they're not.
I appreciate you. I would like to shower. I am a fan of drag. Like I watch Drag Race. I have for a long time, and I've seen drag shows live several times before. But it dawned on me watching the show on Sunday that I thought about myself in childhood, interestingly enough, and that was my goal. I think that's why I'm so drawn to drag now, is as a kid, all I did was dress up and lip sync and dance to songs. Like I basically didn't even play with toys. I played dress up and I danced and I lip synced to songs. And as I was watching the drag queens perform, I was like, oh, like I was a drag queen as a child and didn't know it. That's
so
all.
Is that the gist of a drag show? Is you just lip sync to songs, basically?
No, like they do like comedy as well. They'll do like sketches, but that's the core, I would say. That's like the tent pole of a performance. But like some have a hilarious comedic take, and some are just like straight up trying to be Beyonce, like a great performance. And then they do a lot of mashups now too, where so they're lip syncing to like two songs mixed together, and then they might even put in like famous dialogue from a movie that they lip sync to as well. But yes, lip syncing is a core pillar of drag, I would say.
So like Careless Whisper and Ain't No Stopping Us Now with a little bit of the Gettysburg Address in the middle.
Yes, you think you're being funny, but like that would be incredible. Except I don't think we have the Gettysburg Address like recorded so good. But
I could do it. I could do it pretty good.
But
7 years ago,
it was a Lost at Sea theme. And this is like an example. This was the best number. We were literally crying. We were laughing so hard. This drag queen it was a mashup of I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor and Survivor by Destiny's Child. But intercut with that was Tom Hanks in Castaway going, Wilson! And she had a volleyball that had a face on it, but also like false eyelashes and a wig. Like it was a drag Wilson. It was so good.
It's really funny. Yeah. So I'm curious. I'll have to go sometime to drag.
And I'm sure it's just like anything, like there's probably good and bad, and
any of the arts, you're always going to find some stuff. In fact, most of the stuff you see.
Well, and people have to start somewhere, and they grow and develop. Yeah.
So it wasn't like an open drag brunch. It was
a booked gig.
Right. So that was one of your parting shots. What's the other? You said you had two.
This week, Jeff and I are celebrating 4 years of being married, which is crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I mean, I know that basically 3 of those years have been
COVID.
yeah. So that's why, but like it's crazy. Where does the time go?
But I also think that living through the 3 years of COVID, I mean, I don't know because I didn't do this myself, but living through those 3 years of COVID in a marriage, especially a new marriage, is significant and
Oh, definitely.
like strengthens your relationship in a way
Mhm.
because you're
It either strengthens it or
or
destroys it.
right,
Yeah.
right. I think that happened to a lot of people, you know.
Hmm.
I think that yeah, you're going to go one way or the other because the stresses of being together are so much higher when that's all you're doing all the
Right.
time.
Right. Well, and in the before times, Jeff and I hung out a lot, but we all like truly we had very separate lives
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that like we worked in different places and then like I might have a Liquid Feet show and he might have a stand-up show and like we would make a point to see each other like set time to see each other a few
Mm-hmm.
times a week because we had to or else we wouldn't see each other.
Right.
And that it was a stark contrast to being physically working, living, sleeping, eating together 24 hours a day
With nowhere to go.
with nowhere to go and no one
Mhm.
else to talk to.
Right.
And I would say, again, I don't think that I'm saying
Talking out of
anything
school.
well or saying anything that hasn't been said before, but it
Mhm.
wasn't just that we were together. It was like a highly stressful
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. There were
And
people, I mean, the news was not good during that time.
mhm. Turns out it still isn't, but
Well, that's a whole other issue.
but it's
Yes.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my two parting shots.
Yeah. I have a parting shot. I wasn't even going to talk about this stuff, but we did start the last episode by talking about
I
how
know.
Donald Trump was going to be arrested, but he wasn't. And it turns
Yeah.
out that was his own. I mean, he is such a genius at just fucking with everybody's perceptions
Psyops.
because he was the one who lied about that. And now everybody's like, see, they have nothing. They didn't arrest him when they said they were. And it's like,
they never said that. Yeah.
but anyway, we're actually recording this on the day that there was a shooting in Tennessee, that some children and some adults were killed in a school, and it's just the height of insanity that this is still going on. And the only I didn't want to talk about this, but I was thinking about this short that I have made. And there's a moment in the short that is not actually violent, but violence is alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting notes from one of the producers a while back, like a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. Maybe it was like a month and 3/4 ago, or
we're gonna have to nail this down.
More than 2 months ago, but less than but he watched it and he saw that moment of an allusion to violence. And there had been, I think it was when there was shootings in Alhambra, right near here at like an Asian dance center or something like that. And he was like, first of all, we were not even close to being done and we were not, putting it out in any way or whatever. But this producer was like, I just think it's going a little far with what happened a couple of weeks ago or what happened last week in Alhambra, and we don't want people to think that this is. And I was just like, if we're gonna do nothing related to shootings like this, I mean, welcome to every day in America for the next 100 years. This is what things are going to be like all the time. Either something just happened and we're still dealing with it, or it
it's the
happened
anniversary
today,
of,
or it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's just like it's crazy that stuff is still going on. So I'll leave it at that because the only other part of the parting shot that I had was about how I went back to Blue Bottle Coffee and tried to get regular coffees, and this time they gave me coffees that were already sweetened, and that was very upsetting to me. But that sounds inconsequential compared to talking about that other stuff.
I don't know. I feel like
I don't feel like it's worth bringing up at this point, so I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you didn't.
Yeah, so that's our show. That is our show. It is The Long Shot. It is a podcast. If you have t-shirt ideas, it's not too late. We have not decided yet.
The factory has not started production.
Right. Felipe has not started his architectural plans for what the hologram is going to look like over people's heads. That's going to be carried around. And also, if you have any other comments, we like to hear from people in the YouTube comments, or you can email Amber at amberkenny /
Please don't.
universalpictures.com. All right. We'll see you next time on The Long Shot.
Bye.
But you're a bad reputation I struggle to uphold. You're a penny on the ground, but you're a deer in the road. You're a lover, leaver, a third-time deceiver. I used to know better, but now I don't believe her. It gets to the point where I'm trading my meals for piles of old crumpled up automobiles I could take to the edges or learn how to steal, but I don't want to be here that long. And then maybe it seems like I'm asking myself for my own spare change. But whether or not you're a snake in the grass, all the bad times will come and the good ones won't last. And the vitamin C